Hello there, and welcome to Thank the Maker, a podcast about heroes, princesses, scoundrels, hokey religions, ancient weapons, and all things Star Wars. I'm Adam Russell.
And I am Mike Forster here at my parents' home in Northwoods of mid-Michigan with this beautiful Padme Amidala-like pattern in the background. So guess what, guys? You're lucky. And Adam actually and I, we decided to part our hair, and that's why this should be best streamed on YouTube. Adam, what's up, bro? I just saw you a day ago for LA Strikes Back. What a tremendous and sounding success.
Yeah, dude. We did some good things. A lot of people did good things, and we came together to deliver those good things to the world. And, I sent you a voice note the next morning talking about how, wondering, should we do a whole episode on that? Because I was just like riding this high of having been a part of something so creative and cool that's helping people. It was a beautiful thing, and it's not done yet.
Yeah, which is exciting because I think it gives a lot of people and some onboarding to either get back in that weren't able to make this. I think when I look at what it takes to do something like this, as someone who's ran one almost exclusively myself, and then also now opening the doors for other people to be a part of it or jump on with other people's projects. You see behind the scenes how much work goes into it. I mean, we are spending hours a day building these projects. And I think when you look back on it and go, as we're getting ready for Tokyo, getting ready for Celebration, all these things, like, watch our socials, you'll see all of our favorite memories from past celebrations. Those moments make me smile, but I think what I'm most proud of is what this community has turned into in regards to being great people. And yes. I feel like the world needs that right now. And so to be able to go to Celebration with so many people that have contributed to both LA Strikes Back, Ornament Project, Chrome Tono, it's just going to make everything that much better. So that's what I'm super excited about. So currently, as we're sitting, it's about $19,000. And we have phase 2 going to be rolling out with more information here quick. So thank you everyone who checked in on Saturday, or was that Sunday? I don't know what day it is. It was Sunday.
Yeah.
It was Sunday. Who watched along and contributed. People got some amazing pieces that have a great story that are actually helping people who need it. And I think that's an awesome thing.
People got some amazing, literally one-of-a-kind pieces for like absolute bargain prices. Some of them, some of them went for a lot of money as they should have, but the nature of an auction, and especially one that's sort of like time restricted and with something, for pre-bidding that goes up like a matter of hours before sometimes.
Right.
There's just not enough time for people to get in and bid. So some people got incredible helmets for a fraction of what they would have gotten if they would have commissioned them from those same artists.
Right, exactly. And I think too, this, as we're still in a post-COVID world of like kind of just digital experiences, right? Because like I think of how difficult it would be for us to do something like that in person, but also some of the reasons why auctions are what they are is so people show up and they're always like, hey, why don't we get you another glass of champagne? And after 6 glasses of champagne, you're like, you know what? I am going to bid on that. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in my hat for that one too. So it's like you take all that factor out of it and you're really just seeing, if you take the experience out of the whole thing, as auctioneers, what it really boils down to is just seeing people who want to give. There's no influence. There is no, we brought you to this fancy place. There's no enjoy the red wine while we're here. It is literally just people being like, I'm going to do what I can, give what I can. And if I get something out of it, awesome. Because what you're also not seeing is people who got outbid in the spirit of auction were still people that wanted to give to the project. And that to me is like, that's incredible. I think that's so rad. So once again, thank you for everyone. Phase 2 and more information on that is coming. And we have Celebration rounding the corner every time there's another Sunday that shows up, another Monday, another Tuesday. Sharing a bunch of those pictures today made me super excited. What are you, because panels went live about 3 hours ago Eastern time.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing a lot of people, naturally, as one does, express frustration and a lot of excitement for people getting into certain panels. So after our episode last week where you go? Did you go through it and kind of listen to like, oh, actually, I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about this one.
I haven't thought much more about it since we talked about it because we were lucky enough to have the VIP passes, so we know, well, that we can get into anything we want within within the restraints of how they overlap and everything.
Right.
So I'm not trying. There's so many things on the plate right now. I'm trying not to get too hyped on that.
Yeah.
But I am very hyped.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the more I think about it, the more I know so little about Mandalorian and Grogu.
Hmm.
And being that that's going to be the first panel that they know that they want everyone to just broadcast across the galaxy when they hear about it, that's exciting to me because we know so little about it other than the fact that it's going to be a movie and we desperately need to go back and see Star Wars on the big screen again. So that makes me the most excited. But the second one, um, Ryloth texted me and was like, I got into the Andor panel. He's like, I'm pretty hyped on that. I'm like, well, you're probably going to get tickets to see the first couple podcasts, or I'm sorry, the first couple episodes, just like they did with Kenobi, because I can't
Yeah,
imagine they're not going to do something for people that got in. So I was like, that might be the dark horse panel of the whole.
yeah.
To be able to see it early is really great. So I'm speaking of Andor,
Speaking of Andor,
a
new trailer. So the first one that we got felt like the official trailer. Quote official trailer.
yeah,
I went back and looked at YouTube. It just says Andor season 2 trailer. We didn't get a teaser like we have in the past. We got a full trailer, and then this new one just dropped the other day. So here we are to break that down as well. It reveals some more things about what may be going on, and we've learned quite a bit from the hive mind of the Star Wars community, sort of helping to deduce what we saw in that trailer
right,
was quite a bit more than what we had figured out on our own.
right.
So we'll bring that to this, and then take a look at even more things. It's going to be
Is
wild. And the interviews and some of the quotes coming out from Tony Gilroy and
yeah.
other folks are really, really exciting.
Is this I think this was the final trailer, as they're calling it, right?
It's called official trailer on
Yeah,
YouTube.
okay, okay. So, I don't know, I mean, how are you feeling before we go into this, like, because 'cause we're cold after this, like, anything that we've seen here, we're not gonna get anything else, assuming that they don't do something where they're, I actually think for some reason Star Wars has a problem with this, where they either, like, post a replay or like make sure to watch the latest episode. And sometimes they'll do like next week's and actually spoil it. They've done this with Bad
Right.
Batch like 4 times. Um, being that this one is so condensed, I feel like the marketing is a little bit different this time because you're really only getting, is it 4 weeks or 3 weeks of
It's
content?
just 4. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie every week, essentially, a
Right.
movie's worth, right? Which would be fun for our podcasters. But I think from this standpoint, what is it now feeling like that we got an official Star Wars? We didn't have the marketing one with the Steve Earle song in it. Like this was a straight up Andor. I think this was the trailer a lot of people were looking for, possibly the first time. What's your thoughts when you saw this one? Because I remember we shared it and everyone was like, okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
I You know what? I completely forgot about the music cue from the first one when I watched this.
Right.
It felt like Star Wars. And I
Yeah.
wonder, now that you're bringing this up, my sort of main thought about it is, did they do this to satisfy the folks who, just wanted a straight up Star Wars thing? That was
Sure.
kind of their mainstream, outside of the fandom push, perhaps, with that music cue in the first one, and this was for everyone else.
Right.
Maybe that's it, but I mean, at this point, especially, the the longer I find myself in the Star Wars community, knowing more and more people who get to work on Star Wars. You
Right.
brought me into kind of the maker community,
Yeah.
and 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 meeting everyone through you and listening to Armor Party and getting into the props and costuming part of it. Now I'm watching this going, oh God, that's new, that's sick. Somebody's gonna make that. The whole thing I'm looking at props and
Yeah.
wardrobe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was really kind of my biggest takeaway with this, aside from the the sleuthing of trying to figure out what all this stuff really is.
Right, right. I agree. Well, it's a great trailer, so I say give the people what they want. Let's break this sucker down.
Let's get right into it with sound this time. We're gonna watch through, and then we'll go back and we'll skip through and kind of
Why not?
go
Turn it up.
frame by frame. Here we go.
Go.
I came with you to be part of something.
Hmm.
Where's that?
Gorman.
The Empire cannot win.
Oh,
Jeddah.
It's a different kind of mission.
Jed lady. Looks like the woods by my house.
If it goes up in flames, it will burn very brightly.
Give me another monologue from that man.
But if I'm
I
giving
know,
up
right?
everything, I want to win.
There's the Cialis commercial.
We
yeah.
have to.
It's like they got found here.
We
Yeah.
must
I got
stand
that
together.
sense.
We will be crushed.
Resistance is absurd.
De-aging there.
It's a weapon.
Yeah.
They're building a weapon.
More off
monster
from
will
Civil
come for us
War.
all.
Or from Rogue One.
Revolution is not for the saying. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
There's a future here
Very weird.
for those who dare.
Okay, right.
Welcome to the rebellion.
And then just fast and furious out of here. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, that's great.
All right. Oh my god.
Shorter than the last one, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit shorter, but just in a traditional style of what we've seen. This is kind of like that hype, that kind of last minute thing. But I think we're getting close enough now where it's just going to be re-edits of 1 week,
Right.
2 weeks away, Andor, right? You're going to get the whole, what do you want? I want rebellion, and okay.
Right.
So I think all in all is
Super sick.
I can't have enough of this.
All right, well, let's go back and take a look at this kind of shot by shot. This opening one, we saw this in the first trailer, but was he wearing the same thing? Was Cassian wearing this?
No, this looks. He's got that kind of like long mullety thing. So this makes me think that this is in a specific time, one of the 4 quadrants, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of important. I would almost bet this feels more like this is a Coruscant-y vibe, like
Yeah,
his.
is this ISB headquarters also?
It could be. I mean, I just think that his outfit is just it's put together. It's not dirty. It's not too cool. And I think when you think of the Coruscant upper echelon of people, I don't know. This almost looks like a formal overcoat in some ways, and I'm sure that we'll
Right.
see it flipped around at some point if we haven't already seen it. But yeah, I don't know.
God, just,
Eh,
who's the costume designer on the show?
gosh,
Somebody from the same person that did it last time, I assume.
I
And
don't think so. I think it's. Oh, it is Michael Wilkerson for both seasons. Michael Wilkinson. So, yeah, that talk about a person I want to get on. I want to get on our party. That would be it.
yeah. Okay, there's the Gorman massacre. Did we call this out by name the last time?
Yes, we did.
Okay, or somebody in the patron chat I think helped us out with that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's official. The Gorman massacre. This is a big deal, a big political kind of like something that the Empire tries to spin and sweep under the rug. This is a crucial moment in radicalizing.
Right. This is straight
The
up
galaxy,
citizens unrest.
Yeah. So we saw the explosions in the last one. That's in some Imperial base somewhere, that red light with the
Yeah.
white walls.
So
Is
this is
the planet?
Gorman. This has to
Okay.
be. Yeah. I think the biome looks the same. I think there's, it's densely populated. I think that's kind of why it's supposed to add to this chaos. And I think it also shows the density of how messed up it's going to be with what happens. We're not going to say too much, but I think people can probably start to wrap their heads around it if you know your lore. The Empire was not afraid to do what they did. So there's something. I think this was establishing that this is, Coruscant levels of dense in terms of population, but a beautiful scenescape right here. My God.
And I love the design, the world building here, how it's kind of a walled city but it's like levees
Right.
for this harbor or bay that they have here.
Right.
In the shape, I don't know. It's just really, really
I know it
cool.
looks
I
like a
love
Star Destroyer.
it. Yeah. God, what a shot. Okay, and then here's Coruscant. That's
Yep.
Dedra at the
Yep.
window. Dude, just wait till we get to Japan, dude. It feels like, talking about the density of a city,
hmm
it feels like Star Wars in a lot of ways.
Well, you are my guide to go through there. So I mean, me and Nick land at the same time, and we're basically just gonna like wait for you to get there. I mean, Ryan Key's gonna be there, but like I'm just gonna be walking around just pointing at things like a tourist.
I'll give you some spots to check out till I get there.
Please do.
Okay,
Okay, so
here,
who is he
Cassian
talking to?
Yeah, who is that? But he's wearing that X-Wing test pilot kit right
The
there.
TIE fighter.
Or sorry, TIE fighter, yeah.
Yep, don't screw that up.
My bad.
Okay.
Okay, here's the first shot of this planet that we talked about last time, and there's some debate about what planet it is. This is Brasso. There's TK Stormtrooper, some Imperials.
So this makes me think that the first, let's call this up in the first quarter, right? The first 3 years after Rick's Road makes me think that Brasso either like escapes, and this is actually in the second or third quarter.
Okay.
Brasso has escaped or something, and they kind of seem to be living in this like, we kicked off the rebellion and now we're watching it spread across the galaxy, and we're like just farmers, man, of
Right,
their
like
talents.
exactly.
It seems like that. I think they're it's to evoke a level of peace and happiness, and I think this is an early shot of this is an early shot of one of those third quarters. I don't think we're going to see. We might see how Brasso, Rick's Road falls apart and then becomes an absolute shit show for the Empire. But I think Brasso and everybody gets off, and I think this is later in the story. And I think,
Yeah.
you know,
Because we'll see later in the trailer where they're kind of chilling on the same planet. They're
Yes.
just having food
Yeah.
around the table.
right,
But, to your point about him escaping and everything becoming a shit show, you would have to assume, even if they have sort of liberated Ferrix for the moment, or at least given Ferrix some leverage, he
Right.
and the other folks who were at the center of that moment would have had to bail, or else they
Right.
would have been arrested.
Without a doubt.
So hiding out on a farm planet. And there's
Saw
Jeddah,
Gerrera.
once
And wait,
again.
on Jeddah, and then you can see the Star Destroyer in the background. So this is either what he saw, knows what they're doing. Maybe this is the beginning of them starting to harvest the Kyber.
Yep.
This kind of tells me this is, I don't know if this is him realizing the Empire has showed up. Maybe this is the partisan base has been on Jeddah for long enough, and this is the first appearance, or this is the first, this is the takeover of Jeddah from an Imperial standpoint. It could be very interesting.
Right. And the shot we see from last time, there's the Senate Hall, Mon Mothma.
Okay, so at this point, are we going to see Masameda? Are we going to see Palpatine?
Right.
Who are we going to see of official regal representation?
I mean, there's no way we can see right there who that is in the center.
Because
And it's never-
I have to believe it, even if we got a hollow of Palpatine, even if we got, I think Masameda is like one of those characters that like isn't overly crucial, but like being that Tony Gilroy doesn't totally love to put aliens. I mean,
there are more aliens in these two trailers than there were in season 1.
definitely. But I think what I'm getting at is Tony Gilroy is one of those guys who, if you use Masameda, you have to bring him to life. And this costume team that has to go, okay, are we going to reference Revenge of the Sith? Do we need to modernize? Do we need to make a younger version of him? Like, at what point are we in here? And is this one of those things where Tony Gilroy goes, watch the story, don't sit there and go, his montrails aren't long enough, I can't watch the show.
Yeah,
You get what I mean?
absolutely. I feel like we need Palpatine. I mean, it's referenced in the
Even
first
on
trailer.
even as a hollow, right?
Yeah,
Even
I
as a
spoke
hollow.
to
Yeah.
Emperor Palpatine today, whatever. Okay, some soldiers running through a
So are
forest. Who knows
these?
where?
Those look like soldiers, right?
Rebel soldiers, yeah.
Yeah. There's a part of me that also thought, yeah, they're pretty uniform. There's a part of me that was also like, were these the kids?
Mm.
Were these the kids that when Casa or
Oh, yeah, yeah.
what was his original name? It was Casa, right? Kava? Casa.
Casa, yeah.
Yeah. Almost made me think that this was the kids and we got to actually see what happened to the rest of them. Because if you remember, Andor first season starts off opening like he's looking for his sister, so like
Yeah, so we're gonna...
and there's a right. So I thought this was Kanari for a second, but like it's just I don't think it is. Could be.
Could be. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Next shot.
So that's
what's her name?
Cinta Cass on the right,
Yes.
and that is Val Sartha on the left.
Yeah.
And
Who
that
knows what
could
planet?
be. Now, what's interesting here is like it almost. Do you think we're gonna get any word? We're gonna get any confirmation of Aldani? Are we gonna get any reference back to Aldani? Because that's where like Cinta. I remember feeling so fired up when she walked in there and just basically like loaded the blaster, and they were like, "What are you gonna do? We're unarmed," and she just was like, just walked in there.
Yeah.
In those fatigues, I was like, "Oh man."
I think they're for sure going to reference it because, I mean, think about it. It will be in an internal ISB meeting,
Sure.
bare minimum, because they're going to have to reference the what's his name turning, defecting, becoming part of the rebellion. Like there's too much going on there for that not to even be mentioned.
Sure.
There's Cassian and his slick back, used to be a piece of shit look.
Sure.
They're in hyperspace there. He's talking to Luthen in hyperspace.
Yep.
Here are the troopers running into a hangar. What exactly?
Well, that hangar has that experimental tie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where
and that's right.
flies
That's
through the
that
window
red
later.
dot. Yeah, that's that red light, and that's going off. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. So the working theory right now that Jason put together is that we're trying to figure out if the wheat planet is Tatooine or Lothal. There's a lot of references to wheat fields, harvesting, agriculture on both planets. And I think in this regard, we see a mountain and a communications tower on the horizon. And so that could certainly put us in Lothal territory, that
for sure
communications tower. And if you really want to think about it, the mounds, that one of them, of course, having a Jedi temple underneath it, this feels Lothal.
It feels very Lothal to me.
Right, because you had those like almost like those perfect mountains that actually ended up just being structures that were put there, right?
Yeah.
So there's something about it that says that, people are like, oh, are they going to connect the dots? Are they going to connect the dots of like rebels? Like, are we going to see Ezra Bridger? Are we going to see, and I'm like, all right, sure, Ryder Zadi, sure, any of these people. Like, I don't know if any of those characters hold enough weight for Gilroy to put them in without some level of exposition to explain who they are and what they are, which I think we could do, but it just seems like Gilroy at this point is kind of interested in telling his own story and not doing too much of that like crossover lore.
Well, okay, here to respond to that, I would say if it is Lothal, someone like Ryder is more likely someone who's a little more under the radar, who's not, the starring cast.
Yeah.
Like a supporting character. It seems like someone that Gilroy would put in. There might be a mention, a fleeting mention of what else has gone on. I've helped other people, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But I don't think we're going to get any of the main cast of Rebels. I would love for this to be Lothal. I think it makes more sense than Dantooine, because why would Leia try to say the base is on Dantooine
Right.
and fake it if there actually was a base on Dantooine
Oh,
where
it's like
these
the
troopers showed up. Like that would be a stupid,
right,
you
right.
know?
It's like the Joker telling Batman it's in 2 locations or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then and Amaranth on the on the chat on YouTube was like that structure looks like Lothal like cat ears, Loth cat ears.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, hey, that's
the
super fun.
gazebo.
Yeah, I love everything about that. Um, and I like this like kind of yak, this big, almost like a. It's not. I like that they didn't use a bantha, but I think that's pretty funny. You see it in the back there, the back
Oh
left.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
got these big old like it looks like a yak. But then you see
Yeah.
B2 rolling around with a couple other droids. You see people that look like they're at peace. So there's a part of me that thinks that like we are supposed to be under the idea that they have somehow escaped. Um, they have somehow uh, 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 escaped the consequences of Rick's road. The part of me that doesn't think that this is Lothal, as much as I want it to be so, is just that like we didn't know much about Lothal before the Empire had taken over. And if I would love for someone in the chat to remind me how many Empire days there have been before Ezra went and blew up, shot the fireworks off, and did all that.
Yeah.
Because this might actually help us narrow down a time for this. Because again, we're working backwards. If Lothal has been under government control if Lothal has been under Imperial control for however long, there's been 15 Empire days. Ezra was how old in Rebels? Roughly 16, 17, maybe
Mhm.
younger, 14, 13. Makes me think that 10 years, when was Rick's Road? Does this make sense canonically? You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Physics Buddy Joe says original Empire Day was 19 BBY. So Empire Day meaning the establishment of the Empire. So celebration of Empire Day anywhere in the galaxy doesn't, you know what I mean? That
Each
like
planet gets an Empire Day on when it was taken over.
I mean, admittedly,
not-
I don't
it-
know exactly what Empire Day is, but no, hearing that it was in 19 BBY makes sense that was the day it was established, kind of like, Independence Day in America.
Right. Because Ezra's born on Empire Day. And so if he's, let's see, Amaranth says he was 15. Okay, so like put that back. So it's been 4 years before Ezra was born by the time we meet him in Rebels.
Yeah, here we go. Physics Buddy Joe says Empire Day is just like July 4th. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, but is it across the galaxy on that if time works different on certain planets? That's what I'm wondering. Or is Empire Day celebrated on planets independently? Like if you go to Jupiter, is because time works different, the days are longer on Jupiter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you would have to assume it's like no different than like New Year's Eve with time zones here kind of thing.
Right. And this is why people watch Thank the Maker. It's because we do this work.
We do calendars, bro.
This work. But really, I think this is interesting in a lot of ways. I think those are the questions that I'm asking if it's Lothal. And I'm sure after I pose this question, people are going to start figuring out. And I love you mathematicians for doing this. But it does make me think that when we're looking at this, Bix looks happy purposefully. Brasso looks happy purposefully. So I think the Empire showing up is a shock to people.
So it could be the beginning of Lothal's occupation here, possibly. Andor Season 1 and Rebel Season 1 both start 5 BBY. One other thing to consider, Grarok in the patron chat says he personally thinks it's not Lothal or Dantooine, either a random planet or a moon again. Cassian does tell them to go to Ganji Moon or Gangi Moon. I don't remember the pronunciation.
Right.
So yeah, it could. Man, I want it to be Lothal. Sorry, I'm one of those people.
I love it.
Everybody's happy. All right,
Yep.
here's Here's Bix somewhere dark, and then we're
Okay.
back to
That planet.
yeah.
They
And
see
there's-
this troop transport show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're
And
like,
they're
"Oh
like,
hell no!" And that's
they
what's his
found
name?
us.
Who threw?
I don't know
the,
how, but they found me. Okay, this one. So let's get into
Threw
this. Let's talk about this.
Okay, this building poking up through the clouds on the
Yes.
mountaintop. This is possibly the home planet of Grand Moff Tarkin, Iridu.
Yeah.
Possibly where we're going to see the return of the range trooper, like we saw in Solo.
Right. Which is funny because when we first meet them on the planet, someone remind me, what's the planet? It's late here. My brain is not working. What's the planet that they steal the coaxium on? It's been a run. It's been a run, babe. Or we've had a good run, babe.
I'm
Where
not
we
going to remember.
meet.
I'm
Yes,
not
yes,
gonna
yes. Someone do it. What's the planet? What is the planet? But you know, where we first meet the range troopers is this snowy, mountainous place. So it I'm like, oh, it's the same planet. But I like this idea that it's Tarkin's home planet. I think that's cool.
Vandor 1. is
Vandor.
apparently that planet
Vandor.
from Solo.
Yes. Very similar. We saw the range troopers there for the first time. And thanks to the Star Wars or the Hasbro Black Series, we finally get to see range troopers without the magnetic boots.
Mm.
Looking forward to
Black
that.
Series things
Blizzard
happen.
Force, absolutely. Looking forward to that.
All right, back on Gorman with these troopers in their sort of riot gear. Then another shot of Mon Mothma in a really nice sweater, really nice, Mrs. Rogers look right here.
Color
She's
looks
very
nice on
concerned.
her. I hope we can tell her that. Looks nice.
Who's she
on her.
talking to? What does she say?
We will be crushed.
Yeah, you're right, lady. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
ISB headquarters, and then here is the de-aged Krennic. He's got just a little salt and pepper around the edges. So,
See, this makes me think that I don't know if he's de-aged here because his rank bar says that he's director. The first time we see him in Rogue One, he has only the single blue rank bar.
So is he using Just for Men in his hair? What's going on?
Well, I think they're just trying to establish that this is where him and Tarkin really start to split because we don't see a lot of that in Rogue One. We know that they don't like each other, and you get this like, oh, I talked to Lord Vader, I talked to Grand Moff Tarkin. Well, like you definitely can get the sense that they do not like each other, but certainly the rank bar is kind of an indicator of where time is. And I think they actually, I don't want to say they de-aged him, but they certainly made him look younger in that flashback scene of where Stardust is introduced in Rogue One.
Yeah.
But he has a single rank
I'm looking
bar.
I'm looking at shots from, the promo shots from Rogue One right now. It looks like they basically tried to match the hair.
Yeah. And then Jason just said too, when he kills Lyra, he only has one row of red. Actually, it could just be one row of red, which I think all red is. Jason, back me up on this. Is this Army or is this Navy? I think that's a high rank for Army, I believe. Or he's ISB, so yes. But I couldn't remember. But I know that he has a single bar in all the flashbacks compared to this is the director Krennic that we know, red and blue, full edition. Grand Admiral has the yellow. Tarkin also has the yellow. So those are the two ranks above director.
Okay. He just looks older in the other shots, and that could just be inconsistency in de-aging because they would have had to de-age him a bit just because of the time that's passed on Earth and what's his name's life.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just what I'm catching here. All right, there's K2SO swatting.
Slap.
What
do you think he said here?
There's more where that came from.
You need security clearance. Here's my clearance.
Exactly.
No,
so
I
that's
don't.
that sort of mashed up trooper, mud trooper, with
Yeah.
Imperial cap and
Yeah.
exposed legs kind of look
Yeah.
that we
And
talked about last time.
this is what's whoever's in the chat, or maybe Jason. It's spec, isn't it Speccom or something?
Hmm.
What was it? It's basically ISB's kind of like a security team, or
Got
Medcom.
it.
I can't remember. But ISB has a security team, almost like a tactical force in case they need some level of protection. That's not just a bunch of officers shooting single shot blasters
Right.
at each other. So this is the same ones that we saw in the trailer of that kind of like
They were
um
coming down the hall.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a mashup of tank trooper parts, mud trooper shins. They've got all these jangly danglies like the stormtroopers do off,
On the
but
belt.
they also have belt boxes like the Imperial officers. So that's where I think they're trying to combine officer with a little bit of tactical backup on there too. So
And the way he's sort of posted out here on this walkway, this could support what I was thinking last time, where it's not maybe a standard sort of armor kit that and they troop around in. It might be, your security, you're in the building, you're wearing your black Imperial uniform, but when the
yeah,
shit hits the fan and you need to suit up,
yeah,
you put this on. So like
right,
why else would he be standing out there guarding
sure,
blocking this walkway in this way?
sure. It's
I
almost,
don't know.
yeah. You're saying basically the building's in lockdown and like people are
Right.
putting on their body armor. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
just gets housed. Okay, so we have Clea here. Nice to see that Clea's getting in the fight, and she's definitely not playing a part this time. Like she was kind of, I think that we never established. I think there was a wild theory out there that she was, what's his name's daughter, Luthen's daughter.
Mm.
We were trying to figure out her role in all this, and that of course, everyone's got their own ways of supporting the rebellion, and sometimes that doesn't align with other people's. But I like that we're getting more presence of her here. So I wonder who she's talking to here. This brown coat. It looks like underground. Like, where is this?
Yeah. Who knows? It was a very brief shot. There's the this was in the last one, the iconic shot of Krennic looking at the under construction Death Star.
Yeah, and they're still pretty far off at this point.
Yeah, the dish is not
Yeah.
in place.
Yeah. So I love this shot here. This is about as Rogue One as it gets. So it looks like they're standing on top of, this could probably be, I don't know if that's a tank behind there or if that's a comm tower or something.
Yeah.
But
there's
what's
Ben
really,
Thick.
yep, you have two tubes back there and the other, and then you have, is it Moroff? This big white guy? This big fuzzy white guy that didn't get a ton of love in Rogue One, but just looked cool as hell. And then also had that big backpack. He was like a almost kind of like a utility Wookiee, just a new. And then he has this respirator on the front. Just looks unbelievably cool.
More is right.
Yeah. And Jason just put into some of those officers that we think might be is Compnor. I couldn't remember the name of it, but it's Commission for the Preservation of the New Order. So interesting. It's from a comic. Very interesting. So I think in here, I think this is either that snowy planet that we're going to see an assault on, so that Krennic knows that, so that Tarkin knows that he's not safe, or this is a different planet. Is this also maybe doing surveillance on Edu Station from Rogue One, where they know that the scientists, if we remember, I can't remember the significance of the Edu Station. If the scientists were working on the Edu Station on the Death Star, or they were doing Kyber research, what was the purpose of the Edu Station again?
It was a science station.
Right. So it makes
I would
me
assume they're, doing whatever remaining shit
yeah,
is going on during the building.
right. But
it. I don't know.
this has an Edu Station vibe
Yeah.
to it. Just rainy, cold, just moody as hell. Just awesome. So I like this. Who is this?
Is this
Hello.
not Bix and Cassian?
Chat, what do you think? Is that Bix?
That's her.
Is it?
Touching
it
hands
Bix?
with Cassian.
This almost kind of looks like a moment where we know that Bix is properly messed up in the head. Is this them kind of remembering each other? Is this,
Yeah, it could be.
you
Yeah.
know, like, okay. So the
Like,
chat
remember,
says,
it's me. Touch my
yeah,
hand,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. The chat says it's Bix. So, okay.
All right. There's Mon Mothma again in the Senate. Now she's really getting kind of riled up.
Okay. So here's where everyone's freaking out about. Can we just stop with this for a second?
The idea of Dedra being force choked. So she's got her hands on her collar. So she's gasping. She's freaking out. A lot of
Look at her
anxiety.
eyes, people. Look at her eyes. She's looking all over the room. She's feeling the suffocation of both failure, knowing that if she fails, and the rebellion is burning brighter and killing more people every day. Their job as surveillance officers is very difficult, right? She's having a panic attack. I don't know how we could see it any other way. You're pulling at the collar. Like, we know at this point that, like, I know that there's the way that we've seen the force choke, but like, I don't see it. I see her as like taking a moment to get in this room and just go like, I got to get this off me. Like, for me, it's like the force choke, I just feel like is slow and deliberate. And this looks like a panic attack to me.
I mean, to me, it looks like a force choke. But my rational brain says Tony Gilroy wouldn't want to do that.
Well, Vader can't be just going around just choking everyone who works for him. You know what I mean?
Maybe she's got so much more latitude
Mr. Vader?
because he's just remotely like, who do I have to choke? Okay, give me a second.
That's what I mean.
I'm
just
far
like,
away.
yeah, exactly. Like, I think at some point, like, it would really just devalue Vader if everybody gets to meet him. I don't know. This is my thought.
Yeah. Who knows? Either way, great shot. What is this tunnel in this next one, and who is that?
This looks like, what was the name of the officer that went rogue that was in the ISB? I can't remember his name. Please do. Starts with an M. Starts with an M, remember? And then Luthen has that amazing monologue to him. So what have I given up? Everything.
Right.
He's got the mustache, and you know, Lonnie. Yes. Thank you, Kali.
Cassian on the left.
Cassian on the left.
Long coat.
Okay, so maybe it's not Lonnie.
It's got, you can see the hair flip over the ears.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Make the window.
We should have brought this into Photoshop and just brightened it up.
Yeah. Well, I'll do that the next couple days and just post these. Next shot. There's Luthen with his wig.
Yep.
He's really good at putting on his own wig. I mean, like the way that lace front just lays right in there. That's
but this
skill.
This to me is like, this face reads, they know this to me reads my jig. I think my jig is up.
Yeah, this is the last time I'm putting this wig on.
100%.
All right, and here's a battle with the Molotov tossing Ferrex dude. What is his name again?
Chat, help us out with this one.
Woman Pack.
Yeah, but what was his? Like, he's one of the first to, on Ferrex, the ding 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 when he's hitting.
Yeah, but isn't he the one when the Rix Road thing is going down? Yeah. Isn't he the one that throws the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes the bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's OG with that crew.
Okay, yeah.
So, and I think this blaster is just interesting. It almost looks like an M92 Beretta, which
I was about to say a Beretta for sure.
Yeah, it's just got that kind of which is the Beretta for people who either haven't grown up playing violent video games or know their firearms history, was kind of the working service pistol for a lot of the armed forces. So this just looks like a Beretta with kind of a interesting housing on the front and a extended barrel
like a
here.
barrel, and then
Yeah. It's interesting. So it's just kind of an, and I remember, of course, when the AKs on, when they had the AKs on the, uh, when they did the siege, people were like, "Oh, AKs and Star Wars, that's the worst
yeah, on
thing." I'm like,
Aldani.
yeah, I'm like, all right, come on, but
Yeah.
this to
I
me
mean,
looks
dude,
like,
the original, like, people freaked out about seeing an AK-47 because they know what an AK-47 looks like. Anyone who knows World War II guns is like, well, those are just World War II guns. Like, what
100%. Yeah,
in
yeah,
A New Hope,
yeah,
so.
yeah. George Lucas was really cheap. I want you guys to know that. He was super cheap. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put this. I'll put a little thing, add that on there. It's a space gun." You're like,
Yeah,
no, that's
put
not.
some Narnies on there.
Nah, it's not. It's just exactly what it is.
Okay, a little explosion. That was a really quick shot. Hard to tell what that is at all, but the next shot is Saw choking somebody, saying these words
You're in the fight.
Here, and you're ready to fight.
Yes.
because the shit is hitting the fan.
Yeah, and you're ready to fight. Now, this actually kind of looks like it could be Lonnie.
Somebody just got wrenched in the face.
So let's go back. Who is Saw talking to?
The person has a gas mask and goggles on. That could be the same dude.
Willman.
Yeah.
Saw was, yeah. It seems like chat's saying Saw is yelling at Willman, which I like. Yeah, the hair. I mean, God, like dude's got great texture in his hair. So this is interesting because you were looking at Saw right here. Please confirm. Maybe Jason's been eagle eyeing this too, but this looks like younger Saw.
Yeah, there's de-aging. He's got that Rebels armor on.
Yeah, so that's that kind of green suit. Actually looks a little more Green Goblin-y, like what he wore in the Rebels series before he gets all the additional cybernetics, which I hope that we get that story too, because that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So this looks like some level of a gas mask. Like he's, is there a connection to the explosion that's happening next? Something.
Right. Yeah, there's
So maybe this is Bix's escape from Rick's Road. What was she? This looks like a transporter, like somewhere. No, they're definitely. I don't
some
know.
windows. Yeah, she waxes Imperial in the face. Who knows?
Yeah.
That could be right in the middle.
Oh
of
yeah,
some
he's
battle.
an officer, so that's definitely not. That's not Lonnie.
All right, then there's Krennic again.
There's Krennic in the formal wear. These little neck pieces and the black epaulets.
So this is a close up for the mid wide that we saw in the first trailer.
Yeah,
when we talked about those uniforms.
Yeah. So this is a formal. This is what I think they wear at Celebration. If you remember Aldani's, I can't remember the head officer's name, but he had the black coats. That was the first time that we saw that officer had these on for the first time.
Right.
And yeah, so I don't know. I think it's interesting. Because they were also celebrating. You remember they had, B has, J-Hold, B has. So he's holding up that cup, and remember they're kind of like celebrating to another whatever. And he had those celebrate. It's almost like they just throw them on to say like, hey, here's your nicest tie. Right. So this is maybe Mon Mothma's wedding.
Yeah, we speculated that the kid's wedding.
Kid's wedding.
The daughter.
Something's going on here, yeah, without a doubt. So here it is.
Oh yeah,
makes sense then.
Yeah, I mean, either this is it, or it's just clever editing of the trailer, because this is clearly that wedding, this creepy cult ceremony.
Yeah, this is okay. So now we're back to Gorman. So looking at this, this is either Westworld or it's the Dharma Initiative, or it's representing. Here's another thing. What about people who have been taken by the Narkina systems? On that.
Oh, that's what that is. So what Mike's referring to for the listeners is an octagon logo.
Yep.
On these banners and flags. I think Narkina.
But I think the Narkinas were pentagons, weren't they? No. Were they octagons?
No, it was
hexagon.
1, 2. Yeah, it's It's a hexagon.
It is a hexagon. It's not a pentagon.
I don't know. It is
I
an
know.
odd number, actually. It could be
That's what I
7
thought.
sides,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
7 sides, whatever that is.
Is it? Okay. Heptagon?
Yeah, I
Okay.
made it for Mosh Heisley, and I don't remember, but I remember it being tough.
Right.
Oh, here we go in the patron chat. Growrock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep.
It is? Okay. So this looks to like, I don't know, there's something in here, but it's also the same mark that we see actually, which I like at Galaxy's Edge. If it's the same designer, I hope that he's putting this reference in here, but that little T logo is the A of Oga's, I believe.
Like a pi symbol with
Yeah.
serifs
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Right, which also could look like the symbol that the original Macquarie, when you walk in The Force Awakens under that monolith or whatever that, I can't remember what the official term of that is called. You
Oh,
walk under
yeah.
that.
The sort of gate.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know if this is Narkina, but I could certainly see this symbolism of maybe people who have been taken by this, because you remember, like they said, like the Narkina system, the prison system was doing, like they talk about it in Andor. We are taking everything is a major offense now. Everything is, everyone's going to prison, no matter what it is, maximum fines. So it makes me
Sounds
think
familiar.
that, like, you know what I mean? So it makes me think that, like, people are like, my father-in-law got caught jaywalking and you took him to prison for 10 years. Like, what is going on here? Right. So that's what makes me think that, like, this could reference that. Because you see these different colors and you see these logos, unless this logo actually just means Corman.
Or it's the bicameral mind. Either way.
No, true.
All right. There's Cyril Karn.
Yep.
Slicked back.
Yeah, I want to punch this guy.
He's got a very punchable face. I'm sorry.
If I meet
to
him
the
at
actual
Celebration,
actor.
I'm gonna punch him in the face. What's his name? Kyle Solers.
That's what you get, Kyle.
I'd be like, I don't know, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're a nice guy.
So he's
Punch
here
him.
in this like massive cubicle
Yep.
warehouse almost.
Yep.
Like we saw him towards the end of season 1.
Yeah.
There's
So
Cassian in the wind.
that kind of, like, the way that he's established is kind of like his. If you remember his original introduction in Andor, he and Musk were both like, we need order. I can't believe this has happened. We need order, right? So it makes me think that, like, he's taken his little intelligence job that they stuffed him in as kind of a screw you. You've screwed everything else up. We're going to stick you here just to make you miserable. Makes me think that he, like, whips these guys into shape and they're like, all right, you're doing good, right? Because he seems like he just looks like he's taking this job very seriously when it's supposed to be just kind of being like mindless tasks. It's like basically vehicle registration, right? I think that's where they put him.
Cassian in the wind. Here come the troopers through the Anaheim Convention Center or whatever it is.
Right.
Honestly, dude, that looks like Celebration. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, let's go trooping. You know, it's got that like big atrium of a convention center vibe. It's funny.
Is this the wedding?
Maybe.
This is at the wedding. Everyone looks pretty fancy. I know it's Coruscant, but
this makes coming down the stairs looking equally as stressed as he was when he's putting on the wig.
Yep.
And then a meeting with a bunch of.
Is this Cyril?
Maybe.
Is this Cyril Karn? I think so. If we look at the chat, I want to see what Jason said here. We don't have anything on here, but I think it's Cyril. And what I think makes sense here is that, like, he somehow gets put in charge of, you're not good, like you've gotten good enough at security that we're going to give you these prototype droids.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
For listeners, it's a shot from behind.
Right.
And there are 5 people at the furthest, edges of the frame, and then in the middle, on either side of the back of the subject, it's 6 of whatever K2SO's model is.
Yeah, KX droids.
And they're sitting down with their hands on their knees,
right,
being addressed by him.
Right, but they all look over at the same time. It's a great shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got this this villager that looks like this is kind of the same, Lothal planet, and then it's just a montage of shots. So you have,
The
yeah,
gesture,
this looks like a
you know.
fight gesture.
I mean, that's one interpretation.
Yep.
I don't think the other one is
Take the
PG.
hand. Yeah, take the hand. And then the shot of Reviseby headquarters. Partagaz. And then what is this? Okay, so
what's her name's crying.
Clea
One
is
tear.
crying. Yeah, but it's very quick. But I think that's to show loss. And then this scene maybe is not Canary, but this is some kind of jungle planet when they're shooting what looks like this is coming from maybe an ATST.
It's coming from up high, yeah.
It's coming up from high. It makes me think that this is coming from a tank or something.
This could be the same planet as the shot we saw, the feet marching down the path.
Yes, I think it
earlier,
is too. Yep.
through the woods.
Right. But you can see.
Yeah, and the
that-
sleeveless outfits and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
Unless-
also here's
unless-
Cassian.
Is this Saw? This looks like the Partisans.
Okay, well this could again be clever editing.
You-
So there's a
you
shot
remember-
from
Yeah.
there's a shot from up high coming towards the camera, people are running towards the camera, and then it cuts to a close up.
Well, of Cassian
a
in that
mid-close-up of-
outfit.
Yeah, Cassian with the test pilot outfit and two people helping him run towards the camera. Blaster bolts also coming at the camera. So the
And-
cut makes it look like the same.
It looks like a Brasso looking guy to the right. What is this?
I don't know, man. That's
Man, I'm with you. But look in the sides. It's very jungly.
yeah. And then
That looks jungly to me.
it goes back to Cassian in the tie
So
with
is
the
he?
outfit on.
Yeah, man. It's like, is he? Oh, I need this show to drop, man. We can't talk about this anymore. And then
Final
he just
shot.
blasts out of this. Yep.
Yeah, it comes busting through the window of whatever this is.
Yep.
And it
I'm a pilot.
yeah, that's it. Ends with the logo.
I can fly.
Melshi on the right back there, Grorok says.
Oh yeah, sure. I like it.
yeah,
like
that would make
Melshi.
sense.
Yep, I like it. I like it a lot. Yep.
I can see that. And then an unnamed dude on the left. Okay.
Oh, Andor. Oh.
Hell of a
That's-
show it's gonna be.
Right. That's what we do here on Thank the Maker. A 1.5-minute trailer. We just talked about it for an hour. But let's see
I
what
mean-
happens, people.
It's called podcasting. Look it up.
Let's see what happens. All right. Well, what do we got? What do we got, Adam? What else we got?
Let's be done with that for now. We will go through, do some photoshopping, brighten up some things, and see if we can add a little more to the conversation on social media.
Yep.
We've been slacking on doing the normal stuff, posting stills because everyone's covering that out there. There are lots of good accounts doing it, and we've been doing LA Strikes Back, so we've been busy.
Yep.
But we'll get into
Um,
this coming week.
Yeah. So we've got a couple other things. Mosh Isley tickets on sale for Las Vegas. Make sure you grab those. May the 4th on a Sunday in Vegas. We also have an upcoming San Diego date that we'll announce very soon here, which is exciting because we love San Diego Comic-Con. And by this time, we're going to need all the Star Wars help we can get because it is going to be a absolute cannon at Celebration. And then we're going to try to figure out how to fizzle from there. We know that our friends at Roosevelt's are going to be there, and we're trying to figure out how to do our Thank the Maker meetup, which we are geeked about. That's going to be awesome. So make sure you're joining the Patreon to get info on that. And that's going to be a great time. I'm equally struggling, feeling like I'm not booking enough, but also don't want to book too much.
Yeah, I'm not
because-
trying to book anything.
Yeah. You're just kind of like, this sounds cool. Can we get in? Sounds good.
Yeah. This is a different celebration than the prior 3 I've been to because we have access to all the panels. So that's my focus.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do an autograph or meet and greet session. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that's what's interesting about San Diego Comic-Con is like some of the panels start at 6:30 or 7, and so like you could get out of there by 8ish.
Mhm.
So all of these panels I think are done about 5 o'clock, which then you're out of there for the night, which I think is actually great. And that's usually about if you you're getting up early and doing all that. We'll have to get Ryan Key on here to talk about our plan for content, but certainly this is going to be a really it's going to be a unique experience for us because we've kind of just gone as attendees, but now being invited in a different capacity is going to be fun for us to interact with people in that regard. So
For sure.
let's
I'm
prepare.
definitely bummed that we're going to be as far away from Tokyo proper as we are because we do
Yeah.
have so much time in the evenings, but I don't know. It's Japan. It's all going to be cool. It's all going to be fun. Hanging out with our Star Wars friends in Japan will be fun, even if we're just in the hotel lobby.
Top tier.
100%.
Hotel lobby. Yeah, so I think it's good. What else do you have coming up? What's the latest on your band? We got to talk about this for a second.
We just got a couple mixes back from the producer, which we sent to management. They're pumped. So
Yes.
the ball is rolling there. We're going back to LA in a week-ish. Yeah, a week. And then I'll be there for a week. And my wife's meeting me in LA, and I'm flying directly from LA to Tokyo. So
Right.
a lot coming up. It's a busy month.
That's great. That's great.
It goes from
Make
nothing
sure,
at all to everything.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure to go see Nick as Bayside comes to town for you. Please do go see their this isn't Eras Tour. Is it the Eras Tour?
I think so.
Yeah, please go see Nick on tour. They are probably coming to your town. And then also go see Dion, our
Yeah.
adjacent host. Amber Lynn, the Never Take Friendship Personal Tour. Give a shout out because I know Dion listens as well. They just recorded and released their iconic album, Never Take Friendship Personal, with their new singer, Maddie Mullins. It sounds awesome. Please do check it out. And I'm going to go see them on Saturday in Milwaukee.
Nice.
Be fun.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Support our friends.
All right, we're going to do a bonus segment for patrons. What are we going to talk about?
Let's do it.
I could pull a card, but I feel like we're getting down to duplicates now.
What we could do is a new section possibly of Kelly Knox's Star Wars dad jokes, which I was gifted that for Christmas. And it's actually great. It's actually great.
Well, I feel like you should drop one just every time.
Sure. When I'm home, I will definitely drop one because that is my role here as a dad.
Well, we'll talk about something. We'll talk about something. If you want to hear us talk more, patreon.com/thankthemakerpod. That's it. Patrons, we'll try to do the Discord thing here in a minute so we can get you in on it. We'll see you in less than 10 minutes. Everybody else, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next week, may the Force be with you. If you enjoy Thank the Maker, you can support us by following and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Or you can support us directly at patreon.com/thankthemakerpod, where you can get access to our Discord server, exclusive content, exclusive merch, our recording live stream, and more. Our patrons quite literally make Thank the Maker possible.